Happy game day. 2 minutes in the box with Gordo, the daily grind news, rumors, and updates. Today we are previewing game two of the Stanley Cup Finals and recapping game one of the Stanley Cup Finals. All right, let's recap first. Okay, the Florida Panthers losing in overtime, 4-3 in overtime against the Edmonton Oilers on a controversial delay of game by AJ Greer. Oh yeah, AJ Green's not playing. Thomas Nosek controversy, and yeah, it was a heartbreaker. And the Florida Panthers, they played well in the first two periods. They had a 3-1 lead. Marchand and Bennett, they were playing well. Defensively, they were strong. And Sergei Bobrovsky played his ass off. I mean, he played spectacular. A save percentage was just unbelievable, 0.914. And it's a damn shame that, they lose in overtime on a power play. I mean, it's always dangerous to have Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl together. It's like Lemieux, Yager, Fedorov, Yzerman, Sakic, and Forsberg. It's always dangerous to have that combo. It is lethal. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it was a heck of a game, but the Florida Panthers gave up in the third period. They only had two shots on goal. It was just an embarrassment to watch. And they did pick it up the first half of overtime, and then they just stepped back and quit stepping on the pedal through the rest of the game. It was just a damn shame. But, don't forget the Florida Panthers are a dangerous team when it comes to coming back from losing a game one, game two. And don't forget, been there, done that. The Panthers, I'll tell you, the Panthers, this is the thing. They are dangerous when they lose a game in the playoffs. I mean, they were down 0-2 against Toronto in the second round. Was there panic? Sort of, but guess what? Guess what happened? The Florida Panthers bounced back 3 wins in a row, lose game six, and then they blew out the competition in game seven. I mean, the Panthers are a dangerous, feisty team when it comes to coming back from a adversity type of situation. I mean, look at this. The Florida Panthers, after a postseason loss, after they lose a game, they are 4-1, and they got a goals for of 23 and a goals against of 14. It's time to get back on track here. It's time to get back on track. And don't forget, guys, don't forget what we saw. It's that the Florida Panthers know how to deal with adversity. They've been there, they've done it before. They've been in the Cup Finals 3 years in a row. This is a squad that is determined to get a second straight Stanley Cup. I mean, listen, it's not the end of the world. It's game one. And if the Oilers win game two, I'm going to start panicking. It's crazy that a team from Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup since 1993. And I know that there's a conspiracy that the NHL was pissed at Montreal winning the Stanley Cup in 93 because they wanted Wayne Gretzky to win because he was in the Sun Belt market. It would have helped the Sun Belt markets. But Jacques Demers saw Martin McSorley's illegal stick, saw the illegal stick and the curve on it, and then it was a game changer. And don't forget, Montreal won 11 out of the 16 games in overtime. That is undoubtedly a Cinderella run. That is just remarkable. And here's the thing I would only agree with anybody in Alberta seceding from Canada and becoming part of an independent sovereignty nation or be part of the United States. That's the only thing I agree with Alberta for. You know, that is the only thing I agree with anyone in that province and breaking free from the country that's been out of touch for quite a while. All right, I want to go back to more of this. All right, so Sergei Bobrovsky, he was just a phenom. He was just a phenom in that game. He kept that team in the game. It was just like wow, just wow. And then Sergei Bobrovsky in the Cup Finals last year, he was 4 wins with 4 goals against, and those 3 losses, 12 goals against. And that's the key, guys. That is the real key to this. And the other thing I would like to criticize, it's about the broadcast. That broadcast was horrendous. It felt like propaganda from North Korea or something. And anyone who's American rooting for Canada is just straight up a bum. Root for your home country, Like I just think that the media hates Florida because it's an all-American city. It's a very conservative part of the United States. But come on, people. It's just a game. I mean, it's better economically. There's no income taxes. We get it. You know, if Alberta secedes from Canada, they'll become another part of the United States that has no income taxes. I mean, it's a win-win. I mean, it's a reward type of thing. And yeah, let's just say this, that broadcast was atrocious. They were just nonstop. Connor McDavid this, Edmonton Oilers that. It was just annoying. I had to mute the TV because they were they wouldn't shut up. I mean, it felt annoying to watch. It felt like watching the Penguins Red Wings all over again, where everybody was talking Sidney Crosby, and I root for the Penguins in the Cup Finals in '08 and '09 against the Red Wings. It's like this, here's the analogy from back in the day. The Islanders were like the Red Wings, their dynasty about to die, and the Oilers and the Penguins, their dynasty began. But this is a different one. This is totally different because the Panthers are in three straight Stanley Cups in a row. Oilers, they're in two straight Cup finals. One is a dynasty, the other one is a legacy. I gotta tell you, I am not happy with the coverage. It's just like, come on, TNT. Seriously, people, have a balance and neutrality. Come on. It just really sucks that, oh, we gotta dug him Kenny McDavid. I don't know if it was you guys were that bad this time around this year or ESPN was that bad. It was annoying to watch. I mean, like, yeah, what is this? The Edmonton Sports Network or Sportsnet, like, hey, I got an idea, watch Hockey Night in Canada. Let Sportsnet talk about Hockey Night in Canada, Edmonton Oilers, blah 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 blah. And meanwhile, the Florida Panthers. If I was a Florida Panther fan, I would give them two big middle fingers and start listening to the game on the radio and watch it on the TV because I'd rather hear Doug Plagans and Bill Lindsay any day of the week in the Stanley Cup playoffs instead of this neutral, so-called neutrality of a broadcast. It's one of the worst broadcasts. I mean, it just comes to show that ESPN and TNT, it is one of those things. It's just one of those things. And all right, so Sergei Bobrovsky in the playoffs right now. He's 8-3 in the playoffs. I don't know what his goals against right now, but that right there, you know, I remember last year that Florida went 3-0 and then Edmonton went three straight. And then the game seven was climatically a theatric thriller to the end. That right there, people, it just comes to show that this is playoff hockey. They want the suspense. It's a suspenseful game. And I got to tell you, I'm just looking forward to watching a very good series. I mean, listen, been there, done that. It's a been there, done that type of scenario before. We've been there before, and the Panthers will do it again. But I'm just saying, why in the hell do we have to listen to Edmonton Oilers hockey nonstop? I mean, hello, they're not playing with themselves, but they're too dumb to play with themselves. Seriously. We're witnessing the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers not playing with themselves. How sickening and disgusting the media is. They're a bunch of incest freaks. I mean, they're just like obsessed with one. Come on, it's two teams to get to the ultimate prize. All right? Ultimate prize here, people. This right here is one of the things I'm talking about. I'm just not happy with the biased input and opinion. And let's just say this, the Florida Panthers, they are a team that's ready to get back on track and they are 110% ready to get back into this. Listen, I'm telling you, the Florida Panthers, like I said, they are 4-1 when it comes to postseason loss. After losing a game in the postseason, they bounce back strong. And that only loss was against either Carolina. No, no, I lied. It was Toronto. They were down 2-0 to Toronto. And I'll tell you, this is going to be one of those things, And it's just like, Connor McDavid, I just can't stand the guy. I prefer Sidney Crosby any day of the week. Sid the Kid is my dude. All right. But let's put it this way. Sam Bennett is coveted. High profile UFA, 12 goals this postseason. This man's going to be bankrupting a lot of salary caps, but AJ Greer's out tonight, but he could be available for game 3, and the lineups are going to be the same. Mm-hmm. And we got some interesting development that the NHL and the NHL Players Association are having good, very well meetings. The meetings are going well in their collective bargaining agreement talks. And the thing is that this thing could be wrapped up by the end of the Stanley Cup Finals. That is good news that we might not have another work stoppage for a long time. I mean, this is going to be the biggest stretch of no labor disputes for a long time. The last lockout was 2012-13, but if we count that COVID stuff, whatever, that was kind of a lockout, but it was kind of a crimes against humanity thing. But we'll talk about that on a rainy day. But I would like to congratulate Sean Monahan winning the Bill Masterson Trophy, presented by Johnny Goodrow's widow, Meredith Goodrow. Very touchy and loving. And yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, if Goodrow would have been alive, that team would have been in the playoffs, and I believe that team would have been a very deep contending team. And yeah, I want to go back to the whole Florida Panthers thing. All right, so don't forget the games on TNT, True TV, and Max. And don't forget, if you're watching on your TV, mute the broadcast and listen to Doug Plagans and Billy Lindsay. That's what I would do if I were in a situation. That's what I would do. I would just put down the headphones, listen to Doug and Bill on the broadcast. That's the only way you're going to have a good broadcast. And yeah, let's just put it this way. Let's just put it this way. The Florida Panthers are a dangerous team still. And my advice to Sasha Barkov and everybody else, trap defense, get back to the roots. You know, I know that the NHL doesn't want that whole thing. They don't want the sweeps, they don't want blowouts, they want suspense and extra money and ratings. And besides, ESPN's ratings were like 30% down this postseason in the season. Same thing with TNT. I mean, yeah. And so right here, so Thomas Nosek, all the veterans in the Florida Panthers are supporting him for the costly game win penalty. We're not here without Thomas. All right, we get it. We get it. But yeah, listen to this. All right. I feel like the Florida Panthers will have a bounce back game. And I'll tell you this. Here's the thing that both Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers fans and hockey fans in general would agree that having the ad on the Stanley Cup Finals jersey and putting it near like on the other side of the jersey, like take the ad off and put the Cup Finals logo on where the advertising patch is. The ads and the corporate greed is ruining the game of hockey. It ruins the art. You're putting a billboard sign on your goddamn jersey. I mean, keep that crap in Europe. This is Stanley Cup Finals. Keep that stupid LaCroix and Auto Nation and whatever the hell the Edmonton Oilers corporate sponsor in their jersey is. You represent the city. You represent a community, not some corporate clickbait garbage. Seriously. It's just disgusting. I'm just disgusted as you are. And yeah, I'm just going on a rant because that's how I see the game right now. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go Florida. Hopefully they get this dub. I want this to be compelling and tied. And I'm just so goddamn tired of hearing Dave Portnoy. Oh, V, what about the Edmonton Oilers? Dude, You had to kiss Mr. Vinny Viola's ass just because you wanted to be in the Cup Finals. Everybody in the Florida Panthers hates you, Dave Portnoy. Everybody hates your guts because you and your goon employees were dick riding the Edmonton Oilers throughout the playoffs because we had to go with the popular guy. We don't like the hometown, like all America. And Dave Portnoy, you're just pathetic, man. Your popularity dropped quicker than Mark Zuckerberg at Epstein Island. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what they all have to say. You know, it's it's like that quote from Anthony Chuck. We've got a lot of battle scars on us. We've been there, we've done that. It could heal, but listen, we're ready to get this thing rolling and get back on track. And listen, for the record, I can't stand the media on TNT and ESPN. They're just like it's just like a popularity contest. You gotta get the idiot brainwashed sheeple, like, oh my god, I gotta listen to this Conor McDavid. Yeah, who fucking cares? Connor McDavid, I don't really care. More like Connor McLazy McCommunist, Connor McCommunist, yeah. Yeah, because you're in Canada. It's just embarrassing to watch. It's just an embarrassment to watch. And yeah, and let's just put it at the end of the day, I am rooting for the Florida Panthers. I mean, it's funny. When I was in high school, I root for the Penguins. I was against my hometown team. Years later, I'm against the popular guy because I live in South Florida and I'm rooting for the Florida Panthers. I want to see a dynasty, not someone's precious legacy. It's like Chris Farley said and Billy Madison, I'll turn this damn bus around. No, I'll turn this damn bus around. That would end your precious field trip pretty damn quick, huh, you little shits? Yeah, yeah. I'm with you right there. And I'm with you right there. Yeah, and if anybody beefs me, man, it's like, okay, you want to put on a little man fight between Trump and Elon? Come on. Come on, people. It's goddamn hockey. This has been 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo, the daily grind news, rumors, and updates. And have a great rest of the day. And make sure you follow, like, and subscribe.